What's happening, people? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the US trading session. It is official. In 7 seconds, we're going to have the US markets opening, and I'll give you the headlines of the day in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the US trading session, guys. It is official. The headlines of today are US stocks are set to open higher, continuing the gains of the previous session after supportive comments from the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, which will testify again today in front of the committee. Strong sales figures from footwear giant Nike have also boosted the sentiment on the US stocks. On the other hand, the European currencies extended the losses today after the PMI numbers came out below economists' expectations, barely above the line that represents growth, as the region's economic recovery stalled with the resurgence of the new COVID-19. Oil is still pinned at the 39.80 level ahead of the crude oil inventories to be released shortly today. And gold also traded lower today in the European session, with the dollar index still pushing high in the $94 mark. Here's what's happening with the markets today, guys. Big welcome, everyone. Interact with me, type your questions, and whoever types the right question might win a fantastic prize this month. So let's see what's happening today. At 5:05 a.m. Eastern Time, the S&P 500 futures traded 16 points or 0.5% higher. The Dow futures contract rose 225 points or 0.8%, while the Nasdaq 100 futures climbed 34 points or 0.3%. At the close yesterday, the Dow Jones gained 0.5%, while the S&P 500 climbed 1.1%. It was the first day this week, guys, when the US indices managed to close the day in green. Federal boss Jerome Powell is set to testify in front of the Senate later today, the day after he told the House Financial Service Committee that the US economy is recovering faster than expected from the shutdown, but there needs to be more help through another stimulus bill. Finally, he managed to say something about the stimulus bill, probably under pressure of Donald Trump, of course. The House of Representatives passed a stopgap funding bill to keep the federal government running through December 11, and the Senate is also expected to pass the bill. However, this may be the full extent of cooperation on Capitol Hill, with no signs of compromise over a new COVID relief bill. No signs of compromise yet, okay? The discussions are still ongoing. There's still a lot of pressure being made on what stock markets need to hear, which is stimulus measures increased as soon as possible. This is what the stock markets need to hear. Meanwhile, the number of COVID-19 deaths in the US has surpassed 200,000, according to Johns Hopkins University data. In Europe, the UK has introduced new restrictions likely to be in place for 6 months, and a number of other countries, including France and Spain, have reported a surge in new cases. Now, Wednesday, it's all about oil, guys. We have the crude oil inventories to be announced shortly. Okay, but before that, having a look at the economic calendar, we're going to have the federal chairman, Jerome Powell, testifying in front of the committee in 23 minutes from now. And in exactly 53 minutes from now, we're going to have the crude oil inventories and the Cushing crude oil inventories. Now, last night we had the API crude oil inventories, which came out with a surplus. It came out red, way above consensus expectations. So apparently the US market has a surplus of oil. Very interesting what's going to happen today, as economists expect a drop of 2,325,000 barrels of oil. Let's see if they're going to get it right. Let's see. It's unlikely because the API showed us last night a surplus in oil. Now, moving on. A news that came out a few minutes ago: Libya to restart oil exports at a third port as war abates. This is the headline, and this will weigh heavily on oil prices in the upcoming days and the upcoming weeks. But before I get into the article, guys, the question of the day, the trivia question of the day is simple. What is blockchain? It can't be any easier than this. What is blockchain, guys? Type your questions, give me an answer, and you might win an amazing prize by the end of the week. So the question of the day is, what is blockchain? Take your time. And I will give you the answer in a few minutes. Now, let's move on. Let's move on to oil, and let's see what Libya has planned. Okay, Libya State Oil Company reopened another port, the third, to resume operation in less than a week as a political truce takes hold in the OPEC members' devastating civil war. The National Oil Corporation is ending force majeure, a legal status protecting a party that can't fulfill a contract for reasons beyond its control. Okay, now the National Oil Corporation said it's evaluating security at Libya's other export terminals as the country with Africa's largest crude reserves edges closer to reviving its battered oil industry. Production nationwide will more than double by next week to 260,000 barrels being pumped a day, the company stated late Monday. Now, oil facilities have been the main prize of a civil war now almost a decade, with different groups closing or sabotaging them to press political and economic demands. The industry's gradual reopening began after Haftar said on September 18th that he would lift his blockade. Okay, the NOC has cited the dangers of resuming oil production where armed forces are close by. So the question is this: how do we expect the oil price to go back up when OPEC and OPEC Plus have announced that they're going to cut 7.7 billion barrels a day, if I remember correctly, to balance the markets, when we have a third hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico this month only, completely shutting down oil production in Texas, or some parts of Texas. And when Libya, another country, is adding to the already oversupplied market. There isn't enough demand on the market. We have people working from home. We have businesses that shut down. Okay, we have people still afraid of this COVID virus that created a big mess all over the world. So the question is, how do we expect the oil price to go up drastically and stabilize around the 50, 55, 60, $65 mark if the markets are oversupplied with very little demand? Okay, this is what is happening. Obviously, I can't give investment advice, guys, but use a bit of logic, use the information that I'm giving you, and then you can take your own decisions after you do your own research, of course. Now, remember to like, share, and subscribe anywhere you come across these lovely webinars, guys, and support us in delivering more quality content. Also, remember to join the ForexC Facebook group and get daily trading signals with an accuracy of up to 75%. Okay, now having a look at the charts, guys, let's see how the markets open today. We see oil pushing slightly higher, heading towards the $40 mark, just ahead of the crude oil inventories. But again, you can see it ranging. We can see oil ranging since the 21st. Yes, since Monday, guys. Oil could not decide if it wants to break higher or lower, okay, from where it was. Let's see what's going to happen today in 1 hour after the crude oil inventories. The euro dropped slightly today, apparently gaining a bit just before the US opening, still trading low at 116.94. Yeah, we can see the downtrend that we saw this morning, that we see since Monday. Okay, on the euro, let's see what's going to happen. If the US dollar will lose a bit of strength today after a fantastic rally, okay, a 3-day rally, then probably European currencies will push a bit higher. Now, the trouble is today we had a lot of announcements in the Eurozone. You can see the announcements in the economic calendar, and most of them came out in red. Yeah, we have the German consumer climate, which came out negative, in red. We had the French services PMI, which again came out in red. We had the German services PMI, again in red. And in the Eurozone, market composite PMI and services PMI came out in red. Yeah, that did not help the euro at all, which is struggling since last week. Right, moving on. Let's see how the pound moved today. Slightly better. We see the pound pushing a bit higher, but again, nothing considerable happened. Currently trading at 127.42. We had a tiny correction just before the US opening. Let's see once the market settle in about half an hour, guys. But with the announcements, with the upcoming announcements, it will probably take it a bit longer than that. Once the market settles, we will probably get a clearer direction of the market. Now, a lot of experienced traders, I know they're targeting the buyback, yeah, if I can call it like that, the correction. They are looking to enter with long positions on the pound and the euro as well. Extreme caution, guys. Yeah, extreme caution, as we have Jerome Powell testifying again today, and that will definitely create a bit of volatility on the US dollar. Right, USDJPY. The US dollar continued the rally today. Okay, we see it trading slightly lower at the US opening, currently trading at 105.14. Okay, with the RSI and the stochastic, there is the divergence that you find sometimes between indicators. How do you solve that? You either change the time frame, yeah, to a lower time frame, or increase the time frame. As we decrease the time frame to a 15-minute chart, yeah, 15 minutes per candlestick, we can see the RSI and the stochastic turning around and pointing downwards, and that is reflected on the chart. Yeah, we can see this red candlestick, the last one, that is currently pushing down slowly. Okay, so after US opening, the dollar might turn around, okay, giving an opportunity to the other currencies of recovering. The Aussie dollar again dropped the entire European session today with a very, very shy correction starting now. Currently trading at 0.7114. Okay, USD Canadian again. Wow, sharp movement on the USD Canadian after the US opening. Okay, let's see if this is just a pullback. By the looks of it, the USDCAD is breaking higher. Okay, unless this is a false breakout, then the US dollar might break higher today, aiming for 133.96. That's where the previous high was. Okay, very interesting. What is going to happen today? It might be a fake breakout. So if you're trading breakouts, again, very, very careful with the markets today. Okay, there's the average low, and there is the average high. Okay, and we can clearly spot the fake, the potential fake breakout that we see there. We have a breaking news coming in. Should investors buy FTSE travel shares in either the US or UK? Okay, that is an interesting question. Okay, now looking at the RSI and the stochastic on a 1 hour chart, guys, if the movement will go below this support level or this resistance level that might turn into support, then probably most of the traders will go for a short-term sell position on the USD Canadian. Okay, but again, let the markets show you the way. Let's see how the S&P 500 opened today. We see a positive opening. It opened slightly higher than yesterday, and I'm sure many traders will buy the dip right now. That was the headline on a lot of news websites today. Are we ready to buy the dip? Will the sell-off continue? Okay, this is the answer. The more good things Jerome Powell says about the stimulus measures, then probably the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq will try and get back up, starting a beautiful correction, which might bring a lot of traders a lot of good profits. Moving on, we see the Dow Jones currently trading at 27,424. Again, a positive opening for the Dow Jones today. Let's hope that will continue for the tech sector in US. Moving on to the dollar index, which apparently this is a big signal that the dollar index is giving us. Apparently, it didn't have the power to create a higher high today, guys. Usually, that's a sign of weakness. That's a sign that the uptrend might have ended. Okay, if the asset doesn't have the power to create higher highs. Looking at the last candlestick formations, you can see a lot of spikes, very sharp spikes on the candlesticks. Basically, that means a lot of buying and selling power. Okay, so traders are kind of contradicting themselves. There is a big war going on between buyers and sellers. So whenever you have more sellers on the market, obviously the price very likely will be pushed lower. Whenever you have an influx of buyers, then probably they will push the price higher. This is how investor sentiment weighs on the price of assets. Okay, so Ahead of the Jerome Powell speech, again, don't expect a lot of movement on the US dollar pairs or on the dollar index, but keep an eye on it. And as soon as the meeting starts, you will see movement based on his comments. Right, gold, gold, gold. What is going on with gold, which is doing exactly the opposite of the dollar index if you pay close attention? Yeah, the dollar index, here it is. Yeah, we saw it not being able to create a higher high. Okay, and if we switch to the gold charts, we see gold not being able to create a lower low. All right, this is how you look at it. So, might this be a good buying opportunity for gold, at least for today, at least for the US trading session? Okay, will the US dollar index dive a bit today? Let's see. We're going to have a look at some trading signals in a few minutes, guys, and hopefully we're going to get more clarification on the direction of the markets. Brent oil futures trading at 41.91, just short of the $42 mark. Again, they were ranging for quite a while, and now I'm sure everyone asks the same question: is this a false breakout, what we're seeing right now, or just a bit of volatility on the market? Let's see. Crude oil inventories to be announced shortly, and that will give us a definite answer on the price of oil and the direction. Silver is trading lower at 23.58, losing a bit today. We see the RSI and the stochastic at the lows. So with a bit of luck, silver and gold will get back from the losses they suffered today and in the last few days. Okay, big drop for silver futures that started on the 21st. Okay, so on Monday. Usually these sell-offs last for about 3 days, guys. Okay, 3-day sell-off. Remember what happened at the previous NFP? Okay, or 3 weeks ago, when the sell-off started and it lasted exactly 3 days. Okay, so today is the last day. Let's see. Is it a good idea to buy the dip today, or the downtrend will continue? Now, Bitcoin, your favorite, guys, is trading slightly higher than the morning, currently hovering around the 10,545, 10,550. Okay, again, probably targeting the 10,850 level, which it had again on Monday. Okay, we see it creating a higher low from what we see here. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, there we go. Those are the higher highs. Yeah, and this is the higher low that I'm talking about. So it might get back on track for long positions, targeting the 10,846 mark. But again, no one knows exactly what's going to happen. All you can do, guys, is play the game of averages, okay, and try your luck out. Right now, as I said, let's take some trading signals. Let's see what first of all what investing.com has to say about the currencies. We see euro versus the dollar in a strong sell on all 4 time frames. Okay, there it is. Okay, then we see the pound on a strong buy on 2 time frames on a short term. You have 5-minute and 15-minute charts. Usually that happens when we're witnessing a small correction, which can last for half an hour or 1 hour. Okay, and later on in the day, we still see a strong sell on the pound. If that will change, I don't know yet. We're going to find out in a few minutes. Yeah, the dollar apparently goes neutral on a 5-minute chart. Strong sell daily. And strong buy in between. Yeah, probably affected by the speech of Jerome Powell. Okay, against the CHF, we see strong buy positions on all 4 time frames. Okay, beginner traders can understand this very easily. Yeah, so basically, if you're looking at a strong buy or a strong sell on all time frames, yeah, it makes more sense than strong buy on a short time frame and then a strong sell. Okay, either we're looking at a correction on the market, which will last half an hour, 1 hour, somewhere there. Okay, or the market is shifting. When the signal starts shifting on a 5-minute chart, when the strong buy becomes a buy and then a neutral, then very likely all the other signals will change within half an hour to 1 hour. That's why you need to know your support resistance level, guys. You need to know your technical analysis, and you also need to be aware of the big events that happened during the day, during that trading session. USD Canadian again is stuck on a strong buy position on all time frames. Euro against the Japanese yen shows as a strong sell on all time frames. Okay, so you see how the Euro CHF just changed on a 5-minute chart from a buy to a strong buy. Okay, this is what is happening as volumes start coming into place after the US opening. Quick look at the economic calendar. Let's see what happened. Right, we had the manufacturing PMI coming out positive, 53.5 versus an expectation of 53.1. Market composite PMI came out 54.4, and services PMI for September came out 54.6, just a fraction of a point below consensus expectation. Right, in 6 minutes, we're going to have Jerome Powell testifying, and in 36 minutes, guys, we're going to have the crude oil inventories. Now, let's have a quick look at the US dollar index and see how the markets reacted to the good numbers that were just announced. There you go, guys. Yeah, an engulfing green candlestick, which you can see there. Okay, this is how the markets usually react when you get a good news. Yeah, when good data is announced. Right. Okay, this is what is happening with the markets today, guys. Now, let's see what our friends at Forex think about it. Again, feel free to join their Facebook group and get trading signals with an accuracy of up to 75%, guys. Okay, all you have to do is go on their website, and at the bottom in the right hand side of the screen, customer support will send you a message with the link that you need to follow. All right, let's have a look at market signals. It's very difficult to provide trading signals ahead of an announcement as big as this. So 8 minutes ago, we had a sell position on USD Canadian on a 15-minute chart with a suggested take profit at 133.008. Okay, and 16 minutes ago, we had a sell position on the USDJPY. Okay, again, on a 15-minute chart with an entry at 105.121 and a suggested exit at 105.047. Okay, so very short-term trades. Right, okay. 34 minutes ago, we had a sell position on euro versus the pound. Again, these are short-term trades that you see here. At the top of the screen, you can choose short-term or long-term trades. The difference is the analysis is done on different time frames, and higher time frames tend to be more accurate, on the long run. That is the difference. Now, the answer to the question, what is blockchain, guys? Because I'm sure many of you heard of cryptocurrencies, many of you heard of the blockchain, many of you got an explanation on what blockchain is, but is that the right explanation or not? Well, now we're going to find out. So, blockchain is nothing else but a huge database that stores transactions done in cryptocurrencies. This is it. Okay. Once the transaction is verified and loaded on the blockchain, it is supposedly irreversible. So, this is what the blockchain is, a huge database where all crypto transactions are being stored. Okay, very easy answer. If you know the answer to the question, well done, guys. If you didn't know the answer, well, that's the whole point of attending these daily broadcasts. Okay, right. This is it from my side today, guys. Let's see how the markets will do today. I'm excited as well to see how high the US dollar can go and how low oil price can drop. If that's the case, I'll come back with more details tomorrow morning at the European opening. Until then, remember to trade responsibly and may all your trades be in the money.